presentation. So please go ahead, Karl Reiter.
Great, thank you. Thank you for being invited to this webinar related to street transformation and new mobility. Greetings from Graz. I will share my screen with you. So my topic is transforming streets and to make them more livable. Okay.
So you're just starting the presentation. We see your slides.
Exactly. Yeah. When we are looking at this picture to cut butter with a chainsaw, we would say no one would do that, would use this instrument to cut butter. But what we are doing in our cities is a bit similar. So we are using the wrong instrument to fulfill the task. We even go with SUVs in our city centers, and this is quite similar to cutting butter with a chainsaw.
Karl, just as we are beginning, could you just switch to the full screen and basically start the presentation, because we also see.
You can, sorry.
Oh, yeah, so go ahead.
So this is the first story, first big. So we wouldn't do that. Nobody of us would do that. And in our city, it's done quite often. So we can also look at a second phenomena, that we are very often thinking our transport system is something following a natural law. So the increase of car traffic is seen from some planners as something which we cannot escape from. It's like an earthquake or like an eruption of a volcano. We can only react. But fact is, our transport system is man-made. It's 100% human decision. And the interesting thing is, it can be changed also by human decision, by political decisions, by decisions prepared by our administration. And it's obvious, but from time to time, we have to think about that it's not something following a natural law. We can make changes. And for a very long time, our city streets were dedicated to other things than to car traffic. It was a human space for people to be there, to negotiate, to exchange, to communicate, for our children to be educated there, and for economic activities. Many different activities were given to the street space, to the public space. And only the last 70 years or 70 to 80 years, we changed this type of street use. We made it to a monoculture of machine use. So it's a bit like in agriculture. We have also in our urban public space this monoculture of machine use. And this can be changed, of course. And an investigation and inquiry carried out in Germany, interestingly, by the German Car Driver Club. So they asked more than 2,000 citizens of German cities if they, what they are thinking about redistribution of street space from car space into space for cyclists and pedestrians. And they reported back a very surprising results, as they said in their report. So 2/3 of the citizens of German cities are in favor for changing street space from car space, from car privilege, to more space for the active modes. So this is quite interesting and promising, and makes us a bit optimistic. Greenpeace did it with another, let's say, very easy to understand example. They equipped pedestrians with a wooden frame in the size of a car, and kept walking on a street in Berlin. We can immediately see if pedestrians would behave related to space use in the same way as car drivers do, we would immediately get a problem. So this is quite easy to understand, and sometimes it's good to make it more, let's say, good to see, like in this picture, what you find out here. This is more the graphic situation to that. These are the numbers for space use of different modes of transport in use. So when moving and in stationary traffic, and we took the average speed in urban areas. So for cars, it's about 30 kilometers per hour from door to door, and for bicycles, 15 and so on, and the average occupation in public transport. And when we look at that numbers, we see the soft modes, so cycling, walking, public transport, are 10 times more space efficient than the car use. So if we have little space in our cities, we should, of course, go for the efficient modes. And this is a strong argument to keep things going. This is the moment where we have a first poll. I think it's inserted by the moderation. So we have now a change in our system because of COVID, a rethinking of the system, and so this question is related to that.
Okay, I see a poll question.
Don't be shy. Yeah. Do you see this question?
Yeah, so how do you, what do you say about the home zones approach? How do you evaluate it?
This is...
Is it too soon, Karl?
Yeah, it is too soon. It should be one earlier.
Okay, would you still, do we keep the question?
It's about the COVID. Yeah, we can keep the question for the next, would be the next, okay. This is for the second presentation, the home zones thing.
Okay.
I have 2 webinars.
Okay.
Or 2 presentations, and there are some polls in the second.
Okay, so we will just quit this poll and just follow up.
Yeah, please, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Nino, I would
take that one from the first.
Okay. Karl, I suggest you just ask the question, and I will read the answers from the chat, if that's okay.
If not, it's no problem. We can switch and wait for the next poll. Yeah.
Okay.
And save time in that case.
Okay, so go on.
Yeah. So this picture was already shown by one of the previous speakers I saw. It's out of the International Transport Forum. So we have now a situation where some things are in discussion, especially we should keep in physical distance. So to get more space for cyclists and pedestrians. And at the same time, we should move more in a physical way to make us more resilient, more in a better to make us in a better condition to have a response to the COVID. So we should walk more, cycle more, but there should be more place for that, and it can be easily found usually when we switch from car space to space for the active modes. And there were some cities who already reacted quite active. So it's Brussels. They made a shared space in their inner city and with a strong traffic calming element, or in France, Ile-de-France, with Paris in the center, built up 650 kilometers of pop-up bicycle lanes, which are made permanent now. And Milan made a mix of that, but they are not alone. there is a Google sheet. I put the address there with all the cities who are reacting on this COVID crisis. It's many, many cities, many more than 100 cities with which are dealing with pop-up measures to make more space for pedestrians and cyclists. You can see it here in this word cloud. So if you go to the web address, you see there is a big movement on that to do the first steps, to use it as an icebreaker. We did also something in Graz. This is a 3-lane road through our city center, and we put a carpet there for cyclists to show, to make it visible that space is there, but we should reallocate it to bicycle traffic. And the bicycle is a quite good instrument as a backbone for city traffic, for city transport. And this is taken from an app from Bike Citizens, where you can put in, set a dot somewhere in the city, like here in the center of Maribor, and then you can click on tell me how far can I go in 15 minutes by bike. And you see this is a big area of Maribor could be covered in 15 minutes by bike. So a lot of trips could be done easily by bike, even more if we would also include the electro bike options. And if the city is smaller, like many Slovenian cities are, then the potential of bicycle use is even higher, And so the COVID crisis could be the starting point of rethinking the idea of what could be the main element of our transport system, and to switch from the car to the bike. Of course, it's a big switch in our minds, but from the potential, it's quite big, yeah. So, and it's not only, the bicycle cannot be only used for moving your own body around. You can also move goods and other persons, as we can see here in this picture from Copenhagen. And in fact, it's also very good for the European-wide strategy. So it's good, let's say, driver or fast track from the EU recovery package, where we have milliards, a lot of money there, to the Green Deal, which is also a main goal of Europe, and the bike could be the connecting element. And we saw it because it's already a lot of money reallocated also for bicycle infrastructure. So it's not only for persons, it's also for goods and logistics. We see it that more than 1/3 of all car trips could be replaced, or motorized trips could be replaced in the commercial sector by bicycle delivery, cargo bike delivery, and in the field of service trips, communal or private service trips, we have even a bigger potential. Every second car trip could be easily switched to a bike. And in the field of private logistics, so it's to bring shopping goods home, or in the in the field of leisure traffic, we have a very, very big potential of 77%. So altogether, it's more than 50% of all car trips could be easily switched to bikes, and this is not only for person transport. If we look in a more general pic, what we could do to change our city, to make them more people-friendly, to more human. Of course, we can lower the speed and can introduce area-wide 30 kilometers speed limitation, or we can introduce this shared space or encounter zones, which was the name in some road codes, or we can introduce bicycle streets where the bicycles can ride side by side and the cars have to stay behind, or home zones and Schulskids. This will be part of my next presentation. And we can introduce, of course, the element of pedestrian zones, and we can take out entire streets from the transport system and unseal them. This is also part of my next presentation. So there is a big variety of elements which could be done and can be combined. One of the things which were done under big discussions in Vienna, it was a big shopping street. You can see on the left picture how it looks like before and after, and was transformed into a shared space and pedestrian zone, some area. And there was an enormous emotional discussion between the city government and association of shop owners and chamber of commerce. Very, let's say, a very conflictful discussion, but the city realized it. And now we have it for 2 years and everybody is very happy. And last month, I think the Chamber of Commerce published guidelines and said they would like to have it such a system in every district, or even more than one in the district. So it's a completely change in the strategy from the shop owners, no, because they found out it's much better for the business, more people can move there, but it's always the same. In the beginning, it needs somebody who takes some clear decision and don't follow the emotional discussion and stop some new strategy. Another thing which is quite important in our times is that we in our cities, it will be warmer and warmer, hotter and hotter. And there it makes a big difference if we have no trees or little trees, or if we have a lot trees in the streets and a lot green in the street. So you can see it here in the example of Vienna. It's a really cool down. There is really a cool down effect if we have streets in the city. And this was the starting point for a program in Vienna which was called Cool Streets. So they carried out a survey, which are the hot points in our city, the hot spots, and connected this with the social demographic factors like age of the people, so where do we have children and senior generation living, and put this together and said, let's look there if we have some streets there where we have already a lot of trees. So then we can easily use this cool down effect of streets, and we just have to put out the cars parking spaces, and we can move in the benches or possibilities to play, and this is easily done, and the people can feel good in these cool streets. And they did it as a pilot system in 4 streets, and very successful. This was also one of the streets. And they also introduced some additional elements like spray showers, which are well accepted by children, of course, and additional benches. Yeah, and also the neighboring, the residents, they made some contribution and some program and fun there, because if you take out car traffic from a street, of course, many more human activities can take place. And this was the evaluation. So they were a bit afraid, okay, what will people think if the parking spaces will be taken away? And surprisingly, the people accepted it. So they asked the question, does it bother you that there are no car parking spaces anymore? And the people said, no problem. And more than 90% of the people in all the different streets. And this made the city government secure that they can extend the action. Now we have many more streets this year and for a longer time period from June into November. And they asked also the people, should we repeat that? And it was the same answer back. So more than 90% said, yes, let's do it. Another action to come to a change of street space was carried out in Munich. So they said, okay, it's not easy to take decisions for more trees in the street where you don't have any. So let's move the streets, walking trees, to the streets and show how it looks like if we would have trees there. And this is a very nice intervention, and that connect the greenery with the people there, and you have some partnership for watering and so on. And usually after some time, the citizens ask their city government, could we make it permanent? So this is a good starter for that. We did a similar thing in Graz. Yeah. Another thing is to look at not only at the street space, but also to the ground floor space in buildings, and to ask little shops or businesses or residents to connect indoor with outdoor activity. So you see here some shops who do some outside activities like the photographer, and in the middle you see a breakfast from the neighbors, and in the background of this pic you see also an open window. So sometimes the restaurant opens the window and gives the place to musicians, and they play out of the restaurants for the people outside passing by. An interesting activity in that way is an intervention called permanent breakfast. So there are some rules. Okay, 4 people should organize together a breakfast in the public space, and invite people walking by. So, and to have some communication there, and these people are invited to do a similar breakfast in their living environment. And so it's more or less multiplying the action. You can find under this web page address the idea how you can start with such an action, and to make the public space more lively and to bring the people out of their living rooms. I think it's a very sympathetic way to make the cities more lively. A similar thing could be done with raised beds, with urban gardening. This is a possibility to bring people together and doing some things which are of benefit. Yeah, it can be done in a bigger environment like here in Graz. And in Singapore, they had another nice idea. They said, okay, let's take the upper floor of our parking houses and clean it from cars, and let's grow salad there. Quite nice idea of urban food generation, which shortens also the trip for the plants, for our fruits, or for our vegetables. So if we grow it in the urban environment, and we have only short trips from production to consummation. Similar thing, and maybe better known, it's the farmers market, which can be extended to many more places, and to connect producers and consumers. So here you see all these positive elements of these regional markets, which should be stimulated by the cities. It's only a matter of making the space free of cars, and then you can introduce many of these markets and make it more human, the space. Yeah. I don't know, do you have, did you found the polls for this presentation? Otherwise I would continue and come to the end, because this would be the last poll, the third poll for this presentation.
No, Karl, we will skip the poll because we have a problem, or Zoom has a problem right now with them. So
perfect.
Maybe there's too many of us and something's not working. But Anyway, I'm reading
No
the
problem.
comments, and I can't wait to start asking questions. So I will take this opportunity to encourage people to continue asking questions, because we will then soon start the debate. So go ahead.
Great, great. The last part of my presentation is designated to the stationary traffic. And if we look in our streets to how is it used for stationary traffic, if we look on car parking and bus and tram stops and stationary pedestrian traffic like benches and street cafes, on bicycle traffic, then when we look at this investigation in the city of Graz, we see 92% of all this space for stationary traffic is used by cars. So there is a big potential for other use. It's really a lot of space there, and it depends how we use it. And in Vienna and some other cities, there is the movement, and maybe also in Ljubljana and in Slovenian cities, called parklets as a neighborhood tool. So to transform a parking space into a space for recreation, for communication, like you can see here in this picture, or even like in an Italian city, you can make out of the parking space a public library, which is also a nice idea. That there are many ideas how to transform parking space. They are put in a book which you can download from the Metamorphosis website from San Francisco, a parklet manual. This movement started in San Francisco, so this is a good way. They have a lot of experience since years how to do that, and have many ideas put in this book. But we said, okay, it don't has to be a stationary parklet. Let's make a movable parklet. So we constructed this wooden car to transform the parking space, and it was very well accepted. This is a picture from Graz. But we found out that such a hand-pulled vehicle is allowed in the flowing traffic. You can pull it in the streets, but our road code, the Austrian road codes, that didn't allow it to park it. You have to park it in private space. So we had to change our strategy with these movable parking transformers. And I will show you a short video. I don't know if this works from.
Yes, I think the videos work.
You can see it from the video what we were thinking about, or what we introduced.
Okay, I will wait. Can you just remind us of what the video is all about? So
the video is about the parking space transformer. It's a very short video, I think 50 seconds.
Okay, so even if we lose it,
yeah. But I have also pictures of that, so maybe I will do it in that way.
Okay.
Send you afterwards the link to the video clips.
Okay, just please, Karl, just tell in words as what moving pictures would describe. What does the video show?
It shows a bicycle, which is as big as a parking space, to transform a car parking space into a living area, into an area for people.
Okay, maybe we can show the video later on in the debate. So I would suggest you just continue, and soon we can start the debate.
So it looks like that this is two cargo bikes parked close to each other. So in Austria we have no restriction for bicycles in size. So we have also some elements. They should have two brakes and lights and all these elements which should be on a bike, but there is no restriction in size. So what we made, what we made were to make bicycles, or in this case, two bicycles in the size of a one car parking space, and look a bit and they look a little bit like, yeah, benches or a place to stay for like the children here do and their mothers. And in this picture, they are even more heavily used car parking space. So you see, you can make out of a space which is usually dead because it's blocked by a machine cover, you can make out of that a very viable space where people can make use from. And we like this idea very much of this creative bicycle parking and changing the public space, because you get immediately the feeling how it could look like, and you don't need a lot of administrative, let's say, approvals. So this worked out very well. And then on the Metamorphosis webpage, you have even a plan if somebody of the audience would like to do the same in a Slovenian city. And there is a construction webinar also on the webpage. So it can be easily done by everybody if your road code allows it. So finally, I'm talking now to you because usually I take the example of Ljubljana as a very advanced thing, because you changed the Slovenska from a big car road to a road for people, and this is really impressive, I would say. So maybe everything I say is in Ljubljana already, let's say, in place, but for other cities relevant. So Antwerp made also quite a remarkable change on the street, which you can see on the left side. A lot of information about that, about streets transformation and neighborhood activities can you see in the brochure 20 Good Reasons for Street Transformation, which can be downloaded from the Metamorphosis website. So thank you for listening. I am open for your questions.
Okay, Karl Reiter, thank you